and welcome everyone to my channel. Today I am going to draw and paint, just checking my volume, draw and paint this little Jack Russell that you see up in that top right hand side of my screen. So I've done a few measurements just to get his proportions basically right. You see I've got little dot markers here and there just so I know where bits need to be because he's a portrait. So I start by getting his basic shapes in where I want them. And have I got that photo reversed again? Oh, not to worry. Anyway, so I'm just going to start by drawing in the basic shapes. So I'm doing his ears first, and I can work the rest of his head around that. His one ear comes down there. Just get the shape of his face in. Like that. He's got his nose comes down here, like that. Okay, I need to try and reverse that picture, don't I? I don't know why that didn't reverse on the oh, there, is it that one? Hang on. I'll try and swap that picture actually so that you've got one that's going the right direction. It'll be much easier for you guys to see it if I do that. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to quickly resend my picture to my screen. Subject JRT1, send, and then I'm just going to pop it on my screen so you can see it a bit better. Oh, there we go, that's sent. I could hear it send to my mailbox. Just bear with me a second and I'll just swap my picture quickly so that you've got the right one as a reference. Oh, maybe I need to, what have I done here? That one. I've sent myself the wrong picture. That one. So send that one. Just bear with me a second, peeps. I've just got to send that to myself again so that you get to look at the right picture and send. Whoops. Whoops a daisy. Send. Go back. And then that should be in there now. In about 2 seconds, and then I'll get into me drawing. Refresh it. There we go. Hello, Candid. How are you, doll? Yeah, that's the one. I've got to swap that picture. How are you, doll? How's your day? I'm just going to swap my images and then search the picture. And it is that one. Where is it? Oh, I didn't save it. Hang on. Save. Save. There we go. That one. And then open. And then, oh, what's going on? Inbox. What the heavens have I done? Oh, it doesn't matter. It can stay the same. It can stay like that. It's going to have to be reversed a little bit. I'm sorry, guys. I tried to swap it, but it didn't happen. Okay. So, we're going to start. I've got to make his head a fraction. Maybe not. Maybe I'll be right. I'm just going to get his eyes in where I want them. I've marked where I want his eyes, but I've got to change it a fraction because even though I've measured sort of roughly, I'm not happy, so I'm going to change it a little bit and get things where I want them. I'm good. How are you? I'm great, thank you, doll. I'm going very well. I've been home. I've been back full-time work, so I'm home for a week. I've got COVID, so yay, I get to do art. I'm on the right end of it now. I'm getting better now. So I'm well, luckily. So all is good. But I've been doing lots and lots of art because I've had a week of doing not much. So I'm just drawing this little Jack Russell. As you know, I've got a couple of little Jack Russells, and my pet puppies that I absolutely adore. I can hear them whinging down the other part of the house because I'm puppy sitting one of the little ones. So I've got a house full of puppies. I've got 3 Jack Russells in the house at the moment. And this reference picture I got off my coffee cup. I've got my little coffee cup that's my favourite cup with the little Jack Russells on it. So I'm using that as my reference. But I really liked it because I think the coffee cup, the painting is an acrylic on my coffee cup. So I'm doing it in watercolour because I thought I can get really soft effects with watercolour. Get the highlight on there. So how's your art been going, Candid? How have you been? Because I saw a couple of your pieces, I think. I'm sure I did. I've got a bit of a brain fog. My memory's not so great at the second. um, but I'm sure I saw one of your pieces recently. So I'm just drawing the nose in now. And their noses, I hope you feel, oh, I'm fine, yeah. I'm good as gold. I'll be back to normal in no time. Back to normal in no time, Dale. So as you can see, oh no, I've got them the right way, haven't I? I do have the reference pictures the right way. I'm just measuring, so his eye, you can see on the reference photo, if you look at the angle of his eye to his nose, the edge of his nose is in line, pretty much, with the corner of his tear duct. And on this side, it's a little bit further in. It almost goes to his iris on the left-hand side. So that's how I take the measurements of different parts of his proportions. I've got to widen that ear. That ear's up a little bit higher. So you can, because I can see that's well above his eye there. Like that. And then he's got his little mouth. Comes up under his nose. And around there. So what are you working on at the moment, Candid? And the white mark on his face goes up there. Just trying to see. He's got his little fluffy neck. Comes down the back there. I'm getting back into it. I had 2 family emergencies happen at the same time in Feb, so I took a long break. Oh no, God, I hope everyone's okay, Dale. I hope everyone's okay. That's no good. Sounds like everyone's been having a rough trot lately. Everyone's been having a rough time. It's no good at all, Dale. Hopefully the only way is up. Oh, where's my coffee? Speaking of the only way is up on my puppy cup. Hopefully the only way is up. You can only get better from here, Dale. Alright, so we're going to do a little bit more detail. I want to get some of the markings around his eye. I'm using my Archer's hot press watercolor paper today because I love my hot press. My husband bought me a book of it yesterday. He went to the art shop for me because of course I can't go out anywhere. So I've got my hot press paper because I'd run out and I'm so excited because I love hot press paper. Which just means it's smooth watercolor paper. But I love smooth watercolor paper for portraits especially. So around his eyes are dark. He's got his little fuzzy wuzzy eyebrow up here. And he's got a highlight coming down here. So I'm just going to mark out the highlights. Mark out the highlights and the lowlights so I know where everything is. He's got a dark furry bit there. A dark furry bit there. So I hope everyone's on the mend for you too, Dale. I hope your family's doing better now. Come back and around here. It's wonderful to see you again though, Dale. It's been ages. Ages and ages. Come down there. Okay, I'm quite happy with that. Now this week I've been doing a lot of micron pen and watercolor, but today I'm not going to do micron pen. I'm just going to do watercolor. I keep getting little notifications on my computer of end of financial year sales because our financial year is June to June. So I keep getting all these sales, and I'm like, no, I don't want to know about more sales. I can't afford to buy things. Things are much better. I'm getting ready for World Watercolor Month. Oh my God, when is that? Is that is that next month? I totally didn't even think about it. Wow. Actually, you know what? I'm not even going to worry about the collar. I'm not going to worry about the collar. I'm just going to leave the collar. Oh, do I worry about the collar? I don't know. Maybe I will. Okay, fine. I'll worry about the collar. I'm having a moment. Okay. So, it comes down this side of his buckles there. Ish. Come down there. So I'm going to leave. I'm not going to erase my pencil lines. I quite like pencil lines. And the edge of his collar is ruffled out with fur. So he's got the most beautiful eyes, this little dog. He's got a shadow under there. I can fix that all up in a bit. He's got a shadow under here. So I'm sort of just partially marking in where I'm going to lay his shadow with the watercolor. I'm going to work on his eyes first. His eyes are super duper 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 cute. I've got, which one? That one's looking a bit weird. I've got to fix this one. Not happy with, oh, just dropped my kneadable eraser. I've got to adjust this eye. It looks a bit freaky at the second, so I better unfreak it. Come down and around here. I think I've got the pupil a fraction too wide. That's what I've done. I've made, oh, the iris, sorry. I've made the iris too wide. Oops. Come down and around. And I haven't done, oh no, that's right. And then he's got his eyebrow up here. And that'll help, actually, to give that some dimension. Starts on the July 1st. Ooh, okay. I'll have to remember that because we watercolorists. Oh, I did see yours. I saw your elephants and how good you've got. That's what it was. I knew I'd seen your work recently. I had. That your trio of elephants walking, they were beautiful. You've done such a great job. I did see those the other day when I was scrolling through things. So you should be very excited for Watercolor Month because you're kicking butt. You're doing great. Okay, I'm just adjusting eyes backwards and forwards to try and get things where I want them. So his pupil is the right length. I've got to pop a highlight in about there. Alright, that's looking better. I think that's looking better. I've got to round up that shape though. I had it a little bit too triangle-y looking. So we are going to start with the eyes. I put my watercolor brushes over there. So I've got to grab me brush, grab me thingy, and I'm going to start with transparent sienna. Get my palette. I've got to clean my palette. My palette's grotty, so I better give it a wipe. Give it a wipe like that. Whoops, broke a nail. Got to go to get my nail fixed, but I can't go and get my nail fixed until Sunday when I'm out of lockdown. Okay, transparent sienna, and we're going to start with that. And it's actually nearly all of his eye, nearly all, like even outside his iris, is this beautiful gold colour. I can hear my Jack Russell standing outside the door. He's scratching at the window, trying to get in. But I've got 3 of them, and they'll all end up tumbling all around under my desk, so I'm not letting them in. The eyes are really soulful. The eyes are beautiful. They talk with their eyes, these little guys. They're just amazing. My little dogs spend most of their day just staring at me with absolute, they just, pure love, the little Jacks. They are pure love. I think that's any dog though. Any dog's got magnificent little eyes. So yeah, so that's the first layer of transparent sienna. I'll let that dry. But I can actually use this same colour. You can see this is the same colour. I'll use it diluted on pretty much most of the dog's little head for the first layer. So very diluted transparent sienna, and I'm going to take that across all of the coloured parts of his head in a very, very diluted wash. And I will add the layers of shadows over that. I've got to be careful to leave the white of the paper as the white of the dog. That's the plan anyhow. So anywhere that's super light, I'm going to leave the white of the paper. He's got a bit of a white patch there, so I'll leave that. Come down to his eye, he's got a little bit of a white bit just here. Come down under here. And if I lose any highlights, I can always use a bit of gouache or a bit of white acrylic. It's not the end of the world. You can always go back and take your whites back if you lose them. And this is the very, very, very first layer, and it's a very soft layer, very diluted layer. And I'm using a very little brush too. I could probably use a slightly bigger brush, but oops, I'm not. So I come back around here. It's only a small painting, so it's only like the size of my hand. So I'll just pop in this ear. I've got to go up there. I've got to make that a bit shorter, I think. Like that. Oh, no, maybe it does need to be a bit longer, doesn't it? It does need to be a bit longer. So I will drop it down that little bit. You can always change things as you go. That's the beauty of watercolor and painting and stuff. You can adjust as you go. Around his eyes is really, really dark. I might not worry so much about these other highlights. I can add them back with a bit of acrylic or a bit of gouache. Okay. And for his shadows on the lighter parts of his fur, I'm going to use light blue because a lot of him is white. A lot of him is a white little dog. So, you know, I didn't mark in. I didn't mark in the patches around his little nose, so I better pop them in. Hello Paula, how are you? I just painted a picture of my daughter's dog, part Jack Russell. Oh, cool. Very good. They're good fun to draw. They're such expressive little pups. Very good, Dale. So I'm just lightly blocking in anywhere that I see these marks are going to be. Yeah, I've got 3 little Jack Russells. I've got Bear, Pippi, and I'm babysitting Daisy, who's my kid's dog, my son-in-law and daughters. So I'm babysitting her today. I think Matt Nathan's teaching today, so I've got all the dogs, all of them. So they'll be bouncing around everywhere like a pack of little mad puppies. Okay. So what's your medium, Paula? What do you like to use? So now I reckon I'm going to go super duper, like super duper diluted. Super duper diluted. A little bit of tan under here. Just a very faint little shadow of it, and there as well. And let that dry. Okay, so it looks like he's smiling. He is very cute. He is very, very cute. Okay, we're going to go the second layer now, and I'm going to go back into his eyes. So it's still transparent sienna, just less water. More pigment, less water. And I'm going to go around the edge, because his eyes are dry, around the edge of his iris and his eye, the outer part of his eye, to do this next layer of tone, like that. We'll start to get a little bit of 3-dimensionality to his eyes, just start to think about it. And the same, I'll use the same transparent sienna, just slightly less water, more pigment, and we'll go back over the ears, let the eyes dry again. I'm just working around the painting on all the dry areas and doing the next layer. There'll be several layers of colour. Watercolor. I've tried acrylics, but I love watercolor. Yeah, watercolor's my happy place. I like acrylics because I'm impatient. I can't be bothered with oil. It takes too long. So I love oil. I love watching oil paint, but I love seeing what people do with it, but I haven't got the patience. I can't wait for days. I'm a do it, start it, finish it, same day person. But yeah, I love watercolor, and you can take it anywhere. I take it with me when I go to the zoo, when I go out. If I go anywhere that I know I'm going to be a few hours, or if I've got to take kids to appointments or whatever, I take my watercolors with me, a little set. It's so versatile. You can do it anywhere. It's easy to clean up. It's easy to pack up. It's all of the good things. I'm actually going to darken in under here. Because I've changed. That's not changing the shape of the ear. That's going to be in shadow eventually. Because I can still see my pencil lines under there. I'm just building up, darkening up. I should be using a bigger brush. Darkening up the next layer. That's what I thought too. Yes, it's far more practical. I've got so many different sets of watercolors and I've always got a sketchbook in my handbag. Always. Always got a sketchbook and a little six palette, a little 6 color palette. Goes everywhere with me. And if I haven't got that, I've got my sketchbook. The sketchbook comes even to work with me for my lunch break. As I draw in my lunch break if I get a chance. Just whatever I can see. Okay, I've got to soften this right up. I should have done that wet into wet. That's right, I'll just get my brush, wet it, take the excess moisture off it and just drag that line out. Got to darken up this outer edge of his face. He's got a very dark patch under his eye, so I can actually go over that bit a bit. He's lighter towards his nose. Oh, you can hear my little dogs barking now out the back. We've got a herd of kangaroos out the back. Again, we've got kangaroos everywhere at the moment. And my little dogs go bananas when they see the kangaroos bouncing around. They're yelling at them, telling them to get off the property. They are. So I'm just going to come around. I'll try and leave that bit there lighter, fraction lighter. You can see where I've marked that I want to leave a fraction lighter. There'll be maybe 4 or 5 layers of watercolor on here. I hated watercolor in high school, then I loved it when I tried it again last year. Yeah, that's the thing. You've just got to keep persevering. Oh, is my doodah? Oops, Daisy. No, we're good. It's one of those things you do grow into it. The more, and once you get more confident with your drawing and stuff as well, it helps. It helps get your confidence up. And it's just a matter of learning the water intensities, like how much water and how much paint to use and at what times. The best advice, the best book that I have ever had for helping with understanding watercolors is called by Joseph's Bookfic. What's it called? I need to Google. Watercolor techniques, but he's got the watercolor wheel, and it's so good. And it just breaks down all the different consistencies of water and paint, of what you should do for what kind of intensity. And it took me a long time to get it in my head, but you got to practice, practice, practice. The only thing that really makes you better is practice, practice, practice. All the lessons in the world, you just got to practice, and then you're fine. I mean, I've been using watercolor now for close to 30 years, so it's sort of like second nature. Okay, and it's all about layering and working light to dark. My paper's drying quite quickly today. This paper absorbs the paint very quickly. There's a little bit of colour here that I missed as well. Righto. So now I'm going to go with a stronger brown. I'm going to go transparent sienna, and I'm going to add a little bit of burnt umber. A little touch of burnt umber just to brown that off, because you can see that's quite vibrant. So I'm just going to brown that off a little bit, and I'm going to start to add that into the darker areas, and I'll build that up over 2 or 3 layers, building up darker and darker, and eventually I'll get to my darkest colour. Come down and around here like that. Okay, that will eventually be a really, really dark brown. He's got a fold in his ear there, like that. And he's got a darker trim around the edge. I'm not going to do a background. I'm just going to leave him on a white background. This is all in shadow under here. So pop that down and around like that. But yeah, I remember initially in the very early days I struggled so much with art, with watercolour. Struggled so much with it. It just takes time. And do a little bit, a little itty bitty bit every day. Alright, so these around his eyes is going to be almost a greyish black, but I'm just going to start with this darker brown and build it up. Make sure it gets where I want it, and then I'll build it up. I've just started about 6 months ago, but I feel I've improved a lot because I practiced so much. Yeah, that's good. That's good, and that's it. You will. You'll improve every day. You'll get figure something out, and you'll go, oh, that worked. And the only advice I can give is use the best quality paper you can afford and the best quality paint you can afford, because it really does make a difference. The quality of your paint and your watercolor and your paper really helps. You'll find that if you're good on really like cheap paper, you'll be great on quality stuff. So that's very exciting. Very good. So I'm just going to block this in. So what got you started into watercolor, Paula? What got you started? Because Candid started at school. I started as an adult. I'd always drawn my whole life. I've always been a drawer, and I love drawing. Drawing's my favourite thing on earth to do. So I've always done pencil and charcoal, and since I don't ever remember a time that I didn't draw. But painting was not my thing. But I got into painting in my 20s, and I'm now in my 50s. Come down here. So everyone's got their... And I got into painting. I don't know why I got into painting. I just wanted to learn how to do colour, because I'm not good at colour. I wanted to... So that's why I picked up painting, to be able to get better with colours. By the way, I'm watching from Auburn, New York. I love how I can watch tutorials on the internet. Oh, cool! Welcome. I'm in Southern Australia, down the bottom end of Australia. And welcome. It's awesome to have you here. Because it's your summer there too, isn't it? That's the beauty of YouTube. I've got friends all over the world. Friends all over the world, and I love it. You know, I've met Candid through here. I've got my friend Aurora at Aurora's Art World. I've got another friend, because I do digital art as well. I've got a digital artist friend, Mindsci. He's from Alabama. Oh, no, he's not. He's from New Orleans. I do have an Alabama friend. I've met friends. I've got German friends, English friends. I've got YouTube and Twitch, because I do Twitch as well, have made me so many friends from all over the planet. My mum always talks about how I used to draw on the walls, and that should have been a sign. Yes! You know, when I was a little kid, my mum was a potter. And we have in Australia, we have big backyards and stuff. And we had a big concrete driveway. And my mum, because she was a potter, when her pots would break, I'd use the broken pots as chalk, and I would draw all over the driveway where the car parks. I would sit there and just draw for hours. And my grandma, I actually found a picture of my grandma had kept from when I was like 8 years old, and it's of her dog. I did a portrait of her dog when I was like 8, and I found that the other day, and I'm like, oh. But it's things like that, and I draw on the fish and chip paper, because they used to wrap our fish and chips in paper, in white paper, and Yeah, Grandma used to get extra bits for me, and from the butcher, she'd get the extra paper from the butcher, and she'd save it for me so I could draw on it. My mum always. Oh yeah, I read that bit. Yeah, exactly. That is such a sign. Such a sign. If you can't help yourself, you just got to. The urge to draw is beyond control. And I've always loved drawing animals too. I've got into drawing humans as I do portraits now as well, human portraits. I've got into that as a 50-year-old. I've only been doing that for a couple of years. Um, and that's interesting, but it's a whole other world, portraiture, human portraits. I find it a lot more difficult than animals. And my animal friend, my human portrait friends say that animal portraiture is a whole lot harder than people, and I'm like, no, no, other way around. So we're building up the layers, building up the layers. And you can see it's not exactly the same as the reference. The reference is on. I can hear my dog out the window. My reference is on my coffee cup. um, so building up the layers. I'm going to get back into his iris, but I'm going to go in with a brown. Oh, wrong brown. Go in with a brown. And I'm using, like I said, I'm using my Sennelier and Schminky watercolors. And I've got to leave the white of the pupil as the white of the paper. There we go. We're getting there. It's a bit sad, really. My granddaughter got a very rare disease and passed away. Oh, no! 11 months after diagnosis, after a year and a half, I asked God to help me get my grief. And you found art. You know what? Art is so therapeutic. Art, no matter what you're going through, I agree completely. I agree completely. It is a God-given gift, and it is so healing. It really is. Totally, totally agree. I'm so sad for your loss, though, Dale. I'm so sorry for your loss. It's so sad. So tragic. But I'm so glad that you found art to help you heal. I can't draw entire human figures at all. Humans are hard! But ultimately, you know what? I found I was always scared of drawing people. But I found the trick to it is it's like anything. Break it into shapes. You just break them into shapes. Forget what they are and see the shapes. And as long as you get out of, because you think portrait, it's got to be likeness, it's got to be a likeness. If you think about that, you get worried. Don't think about that. Just think about them as bits of shapes like triangles, squares, circles, all of that, and you'll be fine. Glad you found expression through art. Yeah, exactly, exactly. It's so healing. It's very therapeutic. I've never painted anything, but I find I'm actually good at it. You know what's in your soul. That's good. That's good. I have a Discord, which is like, I don't know whether you guys have heard of Discord, where, because I stream a lot on Twitch. I haven't been for recently, well, since I've been working, but I do stream on Twitch as well. But I have a Discord and I've got it linked over there. And my Discord, my Twitch is Jen's Wild About Arts, all one word. But I'd love to see your art. So I don't know how to link my Discord in the chat. Can I do it from here? Hang on. I'm going to see if I can. Oh, I don't know how to do it. I'll put my Twitch in. I'll see if I can put my Twitch in. Hang on just a second. Twitch. Just got to get my... Because if you go to my Twitch page, you should be able to go into my About section and jump onto my Discord and follow that. And then you can share your art. Because I would love to see what you're doing if I can figure it out. I'm not very good at technology. I'm just looking at my other screen here. My channel. There we go. Okay, so I go here, and then I go copy, copy. Let's see if I can stick this in my chat. I don't know, you can hear my do. Oh, sign into chat. How do I do that? No, I don't want to do that. Hang on. Why can't I? Oh, there we go. All messages, yeah. Sign in. Why? Uh-oh. Opening my browser. No, I don't want to do that. Hang on. Oh my god. Ah! Pressed all the things. Oh no, I can do that. Okay. Can I do it? Paste? Paste. How do I paste? Hang on. Can I copy it? Copy. Whoops. Just bear with me a second. Sorry guys, I'm having an issue here. Copy. And then go to here. and then go paste. Oh, okay, it's not going to let me do it. Let's forget that. Let's not worry. I'll figure that out. Okay, so what I can do is I can't figure it out. Hello, Shane. How you going, doll? Um, how can I do this? Okay, so my Instagram is the same name. I can do it on Twitch. I can't do it here. I don't know why I can't do it here. I can link my accounts. Oh, hang on. Are they in my... Hang on. I'm going to my YouTube channel on my other thingy. Just bear with me a second, peeps. If I go to my About... oh, yeah, okay. So if you go to my About section on YouTube, it's got my Instagram and my Twitter. And I can link those other things. I can link my Discord and that there, I think. Because then you can share your art with me and I can see what you're doing. Because I would love to do that. I haven't been very good on Discord lately, but I've got to get my butt back into gear and get to doing it. So how have you been, Shane? How's Mum? How's everyone? Shane's one of my dear friends from Twitch, who I met over on Twitch. He and his mum. He's one of my English buddies. And his mum's a tapestry artist and does all kinds of beautiful, clever things like that. And she's made me a beautiful Winnie the Pooh tapestry. And I love it to bits. It's in my lounge room. So I'm just building up Buttercup. The shadows up here on this ear. So this is just burnt umber mixed with a little bit of transparent sienna. And I'll build it up darker and darker and darker as I go, leaving little highlighted areas for his white bits. Okay. Excuse my cough. Okay, got to get some more burnt umber. That's a bit too thin and wishy-washy looking. But this is eventually going to be a dark grey brown. I've got to do a shadow tone here, but I've got to lighten that one up. It's got to be a bit more diluted, so I'll get... This is a shadow just here. Doing good, just enjoying your day off. Oh, good job, mate. Yeah, I've got a week off. Yeah, you got COVID. Doing much better now, but yeah, I've got the rest of this week off because I've been working full time, so I haven't had a chance to catch up with anybody. So it's actually been a good thing this week. I've been able to catch up with everyone on Twitch and here on YouTube, and I've been a social media butterfly this week. So I've managed to catch up with all of the peeps, which has been good. Alright, now he's got a darker patch up here. So we're just slowly working in our darker areas, and I've got to get a bit more of a reddy brown. I'm going to go, what other colours, what other reddy browns have I got? I'm going to go a bit of Indian red, I reckon. A bit of Indian red. It's a burgundy sort of a reddy brown, but I think I need a little bit of that. Hello, Wayne. How are you, doll? Another one of my Twitch buddies who's an awesome gamer. If you're into games, he's an amazing gamer. That's how I met Wayne and Shane. Wayne and Shane were both through gaming, I think, or art and gaming, both of it, all of it. So I'm going to go back into my transparent sienna actually, and a bit of Indian red. It's lovely to see you too, Dale. It's lovely to see you too. I've missed everyone. It's been crazy busy. And I've only just started to find a work art balance. Whoops, you can see that's quite wet. I'm going to leave that highlight bit there. I can actually drag that down and around. Because the underneath layer is dry, it's not gonna cauliflower or do anything too weird. YouTube is rocking. We've almost hit 10,000 views. Self-promotion is not a great thing, but anyway. Okay. Come around here. And this is the Indian red. Just around into this darkest part. Come down and around and up here. And I've got to take that actually onto this brownie bit because that's a bit too brown. It needs a bit more of a red tinge into it. So I'll take that down and around. Like that. Okay, and then I've got to take that same reddy brown down onto the other ear. Because it's darker down there. Let's have a look. So he's got that reddy brown tinge under there. So I've got the Indian red, and a touch of burnt umber. And I'll take that down and needs a bit more Indian red in that. It's a little bit too brown. I've got to get some warmth into that brown. Take that down and under. Oh, that's all right, mate. That's all right. Okay, so then come down onto this darker patch, which is going to end up almost grey. I'm actually going to work onto his nose in a minute and start to get the shadows onto his nose. I can actually use this brown onto the... Oh, actually, no, I'm not going to use the brown on his nose. I'm going to use that... I'm going to use a grey on his nose, but I'll make the grey out of purple and blue. So purple and brown. I'll use... Oh, it's not purple. It's really a bluish purple. It's indigo. And in this watercolor set, it's quite purpley. So it's blue and brown to make a grey. So I'll mix that up now actually. So blue, so this is indigo. I'll clean this palette, pop it in this one so you can see it better. So indigo. So it's a purpley sort of a blue. And brown, burnt umber, which will make a grey. Make a lovely warm grey. Or sorry, not warm grey, cool grey. See, that's made that grey that I will use on his nose. I'll dilute it down quite a bit because I want it to be a watery for the first layer, just like I've done the rest of his face. I want it to be watery for the first layer, and then I'll build up the tones as I go. I'll leave a highlight on his nose for the white of the paper. And then come around here. Down onto the bottom part of his nose. So that's made a browny grey. Alright, I'm happy with that. And I'm going to use this also in his shadow areas. So burnt umber and indigo. So less water, more pigment. And while that's still damp, I'm going to drop that into his nostrils. And that'll flow a little bit. Like that. Take it around the side. You can see that already starts to look like a nose, which is a good thing. Because we like it to look like it's supposed to look. And I can take that down the shadow part on the underside of his nose. But I mean, I'm a confident sketcher. I like to freehand draw, but I mean, it's quite okay. If you want to trace things, it really helps with the process. I don't trace because I've got 30 years of practice. But so I think tracing can help you get confident with your drawing skills first, and then you can go to freehand drawing to practice your detail and things. Alright, so I'm going to use this same grey. Now I'm going to go into his pupil and darken up his pupil. I've got to go around the top of that part there into the centre of his eye and really get that darker. And so this is like layer number 4. And every layer you get slightly darker, slightly stronger. Every layer you get a little bit stronger. a little bit darker. But yeah, I'll figure out how to get a link to you guys so you can pop your pictures in my Discord, because I would love to see where you're at and what you're doing. And he's very, very dark in that corner of his eye. And that comes down and around. I'll just drag that. I'll clean my brush, take the moisture out of it with a cloth, and then just drag that down there just to soften it. Like that. Hey David, how are you? Hello. Welcome David. It's great to see you, Dale. How are you today? Hope you're having a lovely day or night, whatever it is, wherever you are. I hope you're having a lovely day. Because I'm not sure of the time zones. I've actually got to make that pupil a bit bigger. I haven't got it big enough. And the same with this one. They actually take up more of the eye than I've drawn them in. So, and the beauty of it is you can adjust as you go. You can adjust a little bit as you go. And I'm going to use this dark grey. You can see how I'm building up the shadows now. And I'm getting into the darker areas and really gutsy, making the darks gutsy and strong. And it really does help with the contrast. Come up and around here into this shadow area. And it's just little by little by little, you build up all of the areas that need to be darkened. Like that. That's starting to come together. And I've got to darken up this side, so I've got to get some of this diluted grey that I've made and just pop that onto this side of his nose. Oh, pardon me, excuse the burp, I didn't mean to do that, that fell out. Right, so I've just darkened up that part of his nostril. I'm just having a quick look at my screen. I'm happy with that. And I've also got to pop a bit of this dark grey into that part of his ear. Coming down there. And I can blend that out. So get my brush, wash it, take the moisture out of it with a bit of cloth that I've got in my hand, and you can see I can just scrub that a little bit, and it softens that grey, makes it not quite so strong. Love the emotion in his eyes. Eyes are my favourite thing to paint. I love painting eyes. And, you know, you can just sit there and paint a whole page of eyes, and it's so much fun. It's so relaxing. Highly recommend that, Paula. Now, Paula, you said you had a granddaughter. So, yeah, are you about my age-ish? I've got kids. My kids are in their mid-20s. I've got two daughters. One's 23, turning 24, and one's turning 26. And a son-in-law who's 31. So I've got adult kids, which is lovely. Okay, so Poppy's little... It's looking so good. The nose has all the right highlights. Yeah, it's good fun. It is good fun. And it's just layers. It is as simple as just knowing your layers and start really thin and build up. Slowly, slowly, slowly. Not to go too heavy too fast. And anything, you can lift things up. Like if I make a mistake, I can sort of get a bit of damp cloth and lift it up and clean it up. So you can fix things. It's not the end of the world if you make a little mistake here or there, which everyone does. You know, it's not going to be exactly how it's supposed to be. I always make little mistakes here and there. Just own it and move on. Pretend like I didn't. Alright, come down and around there. It is good fun. And I'm getting better and better as I'm practicing more. Now I'm going in with a pure indigo. I'm using pure indigo now. And I'm going to put that into the very shadow area of his ear. You can use colours. Purples and blues are brilliant for shadows. A bit older, I'm sure my youngest just turned 40. I'm 66. Oh, cool! Cool. Yeah, I'm 50. How old am I? What year is it? I stopped counting. I'm 52, turning 53. Hang on. Yeah. No. Yes. I'm 52. I had to think then. I had to cut a leg off and count the rings. Youngest just turned 40. Cool. That's a huge birthday. That's a fun one. Did you have a party? Were you able to have a party for her? Or him, as the case may be? Because 40 is a big one. Okay, come around and darken up that shadow at the bottom of that ear. You can see I've gone a little bit over the edge at the bottom, but I can just take that up and pretend like that was meant to happen like that. There we go. Okay, and I'm going to really strengthen up using the indigo, the inside of this nostril, and the underside of this nostril, like that. Right. Awesome, awesome. We're getting there, peeps. We're getting there. Pop a little V into his lip. My coffee, it's a funny story of Shane, who's here, Shane Poole. He always, even on my streams, he tells me to have a drink of my coffee because my coffee always goes cold. We always have this joke of Shane comes in to remind me to drink my coffee because I always forget. So now I'm going to add, actually, you know what? I'm going to add some oranges, and I shouldn't do this. This is going against the rules of watercolor because orange is a lighter color than the colors I've got. But let's see if this works. I could probably get away with it on some of the lighter areas. Let's see. You know what? What's the worst thing that happens? I get to do it all again. So I'm going to clean my brush. I do tend to stick to one brush per painting because I've just realised I need some more orange in there. I need some more gold. So I'm going to go a bit of Sennelier orange because I've got Sennelier and Schminke watercolours. A bit of Sennelier orange. And we're going to see if we can pop a bit of gold, a bit of sort of goldy colour back into the fur. It needs a little bit of warmth. So, and drag that out with the edge of my brush. Even just a little bit, just adds a little bit. She lives in Florida, but she came to visit and left her 2 children with me, so she and her husband could enjoy a few weeks alone. Nice! Nice! I have one of my dear YouTuber friends, Aurora's Art World, is Florida, I think. I think it's Florida. That's, yeah, I'm sure it's Florida. I'm not very good at countries. I've never been out of Australia. Oh, okay, lie. I've been to New Zealand and I've been to, well, Tasmania's still Australia, but I've been to New Zealand. But I haven't been across the ocean far. So how old are your grandkids? How old are they, doll? Oh, I've just missed a whole lot of shadowy bits and furry bits on this little guy's nose here. Or I did it, but it dried really pale. So I'm going to go a bit of burnt umber. Get a bit of burnt umber, make it a bit browner here. Just a little bit browner. Like that. And it doesn't have to be exact because, it's just my impression of this picture. Okay, so I'm going to get my blues now. I'm going to use cobalt blue for my shadows. Clean my brush. Clean my orange off. That little bit of orange has just given it a bit of a lift, I think. I'm happy with that. So I'm going to use this very, very diluted cobalt blue. And I got to have 2 of my grandchildren. Nice. Nice. So I'm going to pop a little bit of a shadow up there so it doesn't look so flat. A little bit of shadow here. You can't really see this in the reference, but I'm popping it in because I want to. It just helps a little bit. Just to get some tone between, some difference in tone between the white and the, because this is on a coffee cup, you can't really see. This is because this is my coffee cup, so I'll show you. This is where I got my reference pic from. You can't really see it, but it's on my coffee cup. You can sort of see it there. Because I love this coffee cup. And I will put his collar in, and that is cobalt blue as well, but it's a stronger value. So I'm going to find the picture that has the picture of the collar in it. I have 7, 10, one almost 15, and Alex, who passed away, was 11. Wow! You got a house full. And little ones too, 7 and 10, that's great ages. 7 and 10, that's great ages. Fantastic. Fun ages. You can do all sorts of things. Are they artistic? Do they like to draw and paint and things? So you can see I've done a darker outside of the blue, and I'm going to just wet my brush, clean the water off, take the excess moisture off, and just drag that around. So get my stronger cobalt blue, just put it on the outside, leaving little gaps where the fur goes, like that. Stronger to there. Then get my brush, wet it, take the excess moisture off, and just drag that around. Oop, doesn't want to drag. Drag that around. I need to get some more watery blue on there. It dried so quick. And drag that around. So you get that faded sort of denim-y look, I suppose. And while that's still damp, I'm going to pop some stronger blue just on the edges where I can see that it's stronger, and let it flow in like that, because that's in shadow there. Like that. Let that flow in. And I'll leave the white, the buckles, as the light of the paper. I'm just going to wet in there with the tint of blue, and then drop some strong, whoops, that's a bit too much, but what I'll do, clean my brush, take the moisture out, and lift it back up with the dry brush, and that'll pick up that paint that I didn't want there. The ones from Florida are very artistic. Cool. So you get to paint with them. Have drawing days. I used to do that with my grandma. I used to love doing that. She'd draw shapes, and I'd make something out of them. I used to love doing that. That's a special thing you can have with them. And they'll always remember, which is really special, because I'll always remember my nan and her doing that with me. Okay, so that's pretty much okay. I'm happy with that. I might have to add a little bit of that grey. I've got a bit of grey on my other palette. I'll just grab that. It's a bit of a purpley grey, and I'm just going to pop that onto I wasn't going to, but I am. I'm going to pop a bit of that onto the edge of his collar. And now I'm going to start to go back in. I'm going to take that grey also. It's a purpley grey that I got off my other palette. We did awesome. The other ones live in San Francisco, at least, to have good places. Yes, wow. Very good. You get to go you get to all the places. Okay, so I'm gonna. You don't want hard lines around things like I do when I draw. When I'm actually doing an ink drawing, I'll have a hard line. What size paper? This is actually. I'm using a giant sheet. I've got giant watercolor, and I cut it into quarters. This is a where's the measurements on it? Doesn't say. Oh, 29 inches. Oh no, 29 centimeters by 42 centimeters. But I cut it into a quarter, so I'm not exactly sure. Hang on. What is it? My little books are 5 inches or 6 inches. So it's 6 inches by 8 inches. So it's size of my hand ish. So yeah, 6 inches by 8 inches. Seems like a great place to paint outside. Do it. If you get a chance to paint outdoors, do it. It is the best way to learn, and that's how I've become so fast. It's because you learn to draw and paint fast, because things move. So and your light changes, and you learn to really speed up your process. I found that with me, because I go to or I was, before I was working full time, I would go to the zoo twice a week and paint, and just paint everything that I saw. And it was a great way to get my speed up and my accuracy. So yeah, and I'd sit at cafes and paint the birds sitting on the footpath and stuff. It's good fun. I think it would be Candid. It's Always Sunny. She lives outside the city, East Bay. Oh, nice. Nice. So, do you have a YouTube channel, Paula? Candid does. Candid does beautiful art. Um, so, you have a YouTube channel? If you do, let me know. I'm just darkening up these shadow areas now. Come down and around. The darker shadows are down there. So we're getting there. We're starting to get some definition. I don't want to overdo it though, because it'll be that's the only thing it can be. You can keep going to the point where you overdo it, and I don't want to do that because that can really ruin a piece. I've got to really darken up. I'm just having a quick look at my big screen. Really darken up his pupils. So I'm going to go in. I'm going to make up an even darker grey with indigo and brown, but very little water. I mix that on my other palette. Very little water. And just take that onto his pupil and get a real dark spot in the middle. Like that. And that gives him, that's like there's a very thin wash of transparent sienna, then a very thin wash of burnt umber and transparent sienna, then burnt umber, and then indigo and burnt umber to make that almost black colour. Love to see Canada. My son-in-law's Canadian. I'd love to go there one day. I would love to go there one day too. My daughter went. My eldest daughter went and loved it. Yeah, that is one of the places on earth that I would love to go for a holiday. How do you do it, YouTube? Um, okay, well, because you're a member, because you've already joined to watch, you actually have to, it's been so long. You just get on YouTube itself and it'll say to start your own channel. There'll be a link somewhere. I'm just having a look at my screen. If you click on your name, it should have a thing that you can start your own channel. And you literally just, I mean, I'm sure your grandkids could help or your kids to set up a camera. And I used my iPhone until this year. I filmed off my iPhone. I only got a proper camera this year. So iPhones are great. The camera quality is just as good as any, you don't need anything fancy. Um, so don't feel intimidated like, oh, I've got to have this or I've got to have that, because you don't need anything. You just need your artistic talent and an iPhone. And you can actually film directly off your iPhone or your iPad or any phone, really. Any phone you've got. I use an iPhone because I like the camera on it. But yeah, I think you click the link under your name and it'll have an option of whether you want to make a channel or film anything. But because you're a member, I would think you could. Canada's beautiful. It's the only other country I've been to. Yeah, I would love to go. Their mountains look incredible. And I live in rural Australia and, we don't have mountains like that. The scenery in Canada and the US is gorgeous. Australia's very dry. Okay, so I'm going to start to, I've got a little bit of grey on his side of his little face. And I'll drag that down and around. And a little bit here. And a little bit down here as well. We're getting there. I don't know that I can do a whole lot more. It's looking pretty, I'm pretty happy with the detail. Pretty happy with the detail. It's not exactly like the reference, but I didn't, close enough's good enough. It's my interpretation of what I'm seeing, so it's a little bit different. Because everyone sees things differently. It's amazing the way everyone looks at things differently. And, and I struggle with blues and greys. I struggle with colour. It's my biggest thing. That's why I got into watercolour, because I struggled with it so much. I struggled with colour so much. That was one of the reasons I started using watercolour and not just drawing, because I know I can draw, but I can't see colour very well. I'm just going to darken up, strengthen up this reddy colour on his neck. Got a little bit down there. I'll pop a little bit of it onto there. And we're just about done, I think. I live 3 hours from Niagara Falls. Wow! Wow! Australia has I don't know if you Google the Great Ocean Road in Australia. It's one of our biggest landmarks. It's one of the 7 wonders of the world, the Great Ocean Road. I live about 2 hours from it. My mum lives down there, so I do get down there occasionally, not often. I haven't been down there since COVID, but it's lovely, lovely part of the country. But yeah, I'm down Victoria, down the bottom part of Australia. And actually, we're a sister city to Canada, because I know we have a lot of exchange students from Canada and things like that. And I don't think you need. I think you can. We have easy citizenship rules for if you come from Canada, you can stay easily. I think because we're a sister city or a sister country. Because a lot of our states are named, got the same names. That's awesome. Me too. I would love to see Niagara Falls. I would love. There's so many places I'd love to go. And I've got friends all over the planet now, which is awesome. So if I ever do travel, I've got places I can visit meet my friends in different parts of the world. It'd be lovely. Okay, I'm just going to strengthen up some of these reds. Let's have a look at his ears. I've got to put a bit of that orange. You can see that orange because I didn't work. I'm doing it wrong. I'm doing my lights. See the yellow, you can see it a little bit, a little tinge of it if I put it onto the lighter areas. I just want to get a bit of that yellow. It's cadmium yellow. I just want to get a bit of warmth back into to his little face. It's looking a bit flat. You can see that gold helps. That helps a little bit. There we go. Look at that. That gives him a little bit of shine, a little bit of sparkle, because we like a little bit of sparkle. The world needs more sparkle. 100%. The world needs more sparkle. And I've got to add a little bit of dark. I can see he's got dark around the bottom of his eye. So I'm going to go a little bit of burnt sienna, if I can get it to lift up out of the palette, because it's quite dry. There we go. Nope, that's not dark enough. I'm going to go add a little bit of Indian red to it. I'm going to take that around the edge of his iris. And that helps to give you a little bit more depth, a little bit more three-dimensionality to his eyeballs, like that. And the lightest light you can get is the light of the paper. Do I need a background? I don't think so. I think I'm going to leave that as it is. I'm quite happy with that. I'm just having a quick look at my big screen. I'm quite happy with that. I am going to sneaky a little bit of white, because I have lost a little bit of white, so I'm just going to blob that onto my palette. A little bit of white acrylic. And I'm just going to put that back in. A little bit of white that I've lost, just down there. And just in here. Like that. Just the teeniest, tiniest little touch of white. And a little bit under that nostril. Not white acrylic, white gouache I mean. Because it's an opaque. There we go. Just that tiniest little bit. just enough to, whoops, it's dried out quick, hang on, grab a bit more white gouache. Oops, doesn't want to do it. Clean my brush, clean my palette, and get a bit more gouache on there because I just want to add a little bit onto his ear. Just that tiniest little touch makes such a difference. I'll pop the white there where you can see it. Like that. Just that little tiny bit. Just a little bit, and I've lost a little bit down there around that edge of his eye. A little bit there. Alright. And then there's a little bit around this trim of this ear. Just a tiniest little bit, lightest light against your darkest dark. Like that. And a little bit up there. And I reckon I'm going to call that done. So it's not exactly like the reference, but it's pretty close. I'm happy with that. So I'm going to sign this, and I'll just use whatever's on my palette, just grab a bit of everything. Sign this down here, bottom right hand side, like that. And I am going to call that done. So I hope you've enjoyed this video, peeps. It's awesome to see you, Candid, and Shane, and Wayne, and Paula. It's lovely to meet you, Dale. It's awesome to meet you. I'll be back on YouTube tomorrow, same time. I'm going to try and, because I've got the rest of the week off, so I'll try and stream here every day while I've got the opportunity. I might as well utilise it. And yeah, I'll probably pop over to Twitch this afternoon. So I don't know whether you've got a Twitch. You probably don't have a Twitch account. I'd never even heard of Twitch until a friend of mine over here got me into it. But it's TWITCH. I also have a Twitch channel where I stream, but I stream art and games. So I play games as well, because why not? But because it's a bit different and it's a bit of fun. So but yes, so I'll be back here tomorrow, and I'll probably do another tutorial. If you've got any suggestions on what you would like to see drawn or painted, just pop a comment in the comments below of what you'd like to see drawn tomorrow. If you've got anything that you want to learn how to do, anything like that, just put a comment down below, and I'll try and find a reference picture for tomorrow. And I'll do whatever you want to do, because I need inspiration, so you guys can inspire me and give me an idea of what I want to do next. So yeah, have a think about it and let me know what you'd like to see drawn or painted. It can be pretty much anything. I don't have any. I could be even houses. I'm not fussed. Human portrait, animal portraits, whatever you want to see drawn. Flowers. I'm not very good at flowers, but flowers. So yeah, just leave a comment below. And it was lovely to meet you, Paula, and hope to see you again. After this, I'll go into my YouTube channel and I'll pop a link to my other things, my social medias, like my Discord and that. I'll try and pop a link into my About section, so that way you can share your art there with me and I can check it out. That'd be awesome. So I will love and leave you all, and I will be back tomorrow at the same time. So thank you so much for hanging out. It was awesome having a chat. I love having a chat. Can you tell? I can talk the leg off a chair. So, so thank you so much, and I will see you all tomorrow. Have an awesome day or night, whatever it is, wherever you are. Have an awesome one. I think it's probably night time there, isn't it? Anyway, it was lovely to see you. Have a